going on, dudes and dudettes? So after the last couple weeks or so, Duke basketball has finally climbed up to the number 4 spot in the AP poll. Obviously, I think that's kind of where they started at the beginning of the year, but now they're finally back there after a couple losses against some of the top teams. But the other day, they were able to go on the road and play against SMU without head coach John Shire because he was sick, stuck back in Durham. But they got that victory, 89-62. Cooper Flagg, the freshman, had 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks as well. He's also got another sweep in the ACC Player of the Week and the Rookie of the Week. There are only 4 other freshmen to ever do that while in the ACC, and they're all from Duke, pretty amazingly. Jabari Parker did it 13-14, Marvin Bagley III, 17-18, Zion Williamson, 18-19, Vernon Carey Jr., 19-20, and obviously Flagg just recently did it. Vernon Carey is the more interesting one just because he's like the less as talented of those other 3 guys, even if you include Flagg too as the 4th. But yeah, you kind of forget how productive he was, and I guess that's his main reason as to leaving Duke after his freshman year, even though he should have stayed because never really got any playing time in the NBA and still hasn't. So it's another guy like a DJ Stewart, Trevor Keels, a lot of guys who should have stayed at least another couple of years, and I'm sure they would say the same thing. But they made their decision, and yeah, now Flagg is part of that history of Duke freshmen in the ACC, which is nice. They also did have another game the other day against Pitt, which is kind of a revenge game, and they got that victory 76-47, a big time victory. And I say revenge just because last year Pitt came into Duke and I don't know if they really destroyed them, but they did get that victory. Pretty close game towards the end, and it just looked bad for Duke because I don't think Pitt was really as ranked or that good compared like to this year. I think they only have 2 losses overall. I think they have the same identical record as Duke the other day, but Duke was able to get back that win pretty much. And I think the main culprit in that game for Pitt last year, who was their best player, Blake Hinson, I think the Lakers had signed him as an undrafted guy. So yeah, once again, one of my enemies joining my team, but at least I think right now he's still on the Lakers. I could be wrong, but he's definitely not playing with the main team. But either way, like I said, Duke is most recently 2-0 since I last spoke to you guys about Duke. So yeah, that's a more positive thing right there for them. And then the Chargers, yes, they played this last weekend, and they got that victory against the Raiders, 34-20, and they got their next opponent in the wild card round in the first round, as they're going on the road to Houston for Saturday around 1:30 Eastern time. So that'll be pretty interesting to see how they do. I know Houston, of all the teams, this is kind of the better matchup for the Chargers because Houston, between like Baltimore and I forget the other team that they could have played against, maybe even Buffalo, are some of the better teams out there. So they kind of got the better straw against Houston, but maybe Houston finally decides to step up because they did pretty well in the playoffs last season, surprising a bunch of people. So maybe Chargers can be that surprising team in the AFC, but they had one of their better defenses in recent memory. I think they had the fewest points allowed in the NFL at like 301 total points and like a 17.7 points per game average, which is pretty crazy and pretty awesome. So yeah, they definitely stepped it up under first year Jesse Minter as their defensive coordinator, but just sucks because that means he's probably going to get some head coaching opportunities this offseason, which is still a good thing. We'll still root for him, but yeah, it just sucks to always lose some of your top guys. But this is what you have to deal with. And then looking at the playoff picture, I mean, I think if the Chargers beat Houston, they'll have to play against the Chiefs. I forget if when you advance in the NFL, if it's like the lower seeds obviously have to play the number 1 seed, but if there's a lower seed that's like later than the Chargers that actually upset one of those other teams, whether it's Buffalo or Baltimore, then do they move up and play against the Chiefs? I don't know. I think that's kind of like how the NFL does it. I could be wrong, but either way, hoping for at least another rematch against the Chiefs and everything goes as settled. The Chargers did make another move. They signed Ezekiel Elliott, I think, to the regular squad. I could be wrong. I don't know if they signed him to the practice squad, but that was an interesting sign. And then Cameron Dicker was named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week for Week 18, which is really cool. And then Derwin James was recently named a second-team All-Pro by the NFL, which is nice. And he was also named the AFC Defensive Player of the Month. So yeah, everything's going well for a lot of the top guys with the Chargers. So hopefully they got some nice momentum for their game this Saturday in their first wild card in the past couple of seasons. And then they also got a little bit of nice news coming from Vegas to where they have already fired their new GM that they had just signed this last off season, and Tom Telesco, who was the main GM for the Chargers the past 10 years before that. But I don't know, they already got rid of the coach, and now they're going to get rid of the GM, and he's not even going to get to hire his first head coach because Antonio Pierce was already there. So I don't know, it's always a little bit more fun when the Chargers can cause more turmoil, because I think the Raiders kind of did that for the Chargers too the past couple years in order to get Jim Harbaugh there. But either way, I guess they could end up thanking us if they end up finally making some right decisions out there in Vegas. And yes, the Duke women's basketball team did play against Pitt as well. They got that victory big, 69-31. Regan Richardson scored her 1,000 points in her career, which is great. And then the Duke football team did hear back from linebacker Trey Freeman that he's apparently running it back and coming back next season. So that's awesome to have one of their leaders return. Phil Steele did his All-America team, and Chandler Rivers of Duke was named the 4th team cornerback, which is great. Max Preps did an All-American first team for a couple of those freshmen coming in for Duke, and Elliott Shaper and Bryce Davis, a linebacker and a defensive lineman, were named to that, which is really cool. The Softball America preseason top 100 has a couple of players from the Duke team. They had Cassidy Kurt at number 35, Dauna, no, I'm saying that incorrect, Jennings at number 47, and Amina Vega at number 15. And I believe Amina Vega as well was named like a preseason All-American honors from that same Softball America. So congrats to her. And then Division I softball, like the top 100 freshman watch list, put Ava Bradshaw from Duke on their list, which is pretty cool. And a couple All-Americans from the men's soccer team. They had Wessel Spiel and Ufler Georgian. I know I'm saying that incorrect. Sorry about that, but they made the All-America. And then one of their guys was drafted from that soccer team in the MLS Super Draft. In round 3, number 21, Drew Kerr went to the Columbus Crew, which is cool. And then Sean Davis was actually called up, I think, to the LA Galaxy, which is pretty awesome. He's an ex-Duke player, too, for the soccer team, so congrats to him. And then, yeah, obviously the more recent game for the Lakers was not played due to the wildfires that is happening out there in LA County. Sucks seeing all this stuff coming from there. I'm about like 35, 40 something miles away. I don't see any of the smoke, but I just know how bad it is going out there. So obviously sending thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. I know a lot of people have lost their homes, lives too, and being displaced right now, but if you can help out any way you can, please do that. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day.